If you're between 60 and 64 years old and receive CalFresh benefits, you need to hear this. A lot of people assume that once they turn 60, they're automatically exempt from CalFresh work requirements. This is not true. Under current rules, the age-based exemption now begins at age 65. So if you're between 60 and 64, you may still be subject to the ABAWD time limit rules unless you qualify for a separate exemption. And that misunderstanding could put your CalFresh benefits at risk. In this video, I'll explain who may be affected, what the ABAWD rules are, what exemptions may apply, and what you should do before your next recertification or county review. Welcome to Benefits Breakdown. This channel is for informational and educational purposes only. Always check with your local county office or local county website for the latest information. The big misunderstanding is this. Many CalFresh recipients believe age 60 automatically protects them from age-related work rules. But for the ABAWD time limit rules, age 60 by itself is not enough. ABAWD stands for Able-Bodied Adults Without Dependents. If you are considered an ABAWD, you must work, volunteer, participate in training, or complete other approved activities for at least 20 hours per week or 80 hours per month. If you do not meet the requirement and you do not qualify for an exemption, your CalFresh benefits may be limited to 3 months during a 36-month period. And here's another important fact many people don't know. California's current ABAWD 36-month clock began in January 2026 and runs through December 2028 before resetting again in January 2029. That means if you're being screened during a recertification this summer, you're already several months into that 3-year clock. If you are 60 to 64 and your only exemption is your age, you may still be subject to the ABAWD timeline. You need another exemption, or you need to meet the required activity hours. Now let's talk about exemptions that are more likely to apply to people in this age group. You may apply for an exemption if you have a physical health condition that limits your ability to work. You may qualify if you have a mental health condition that limits your ability to work. You may qualify if you're receiving disability-related benefits. You may qualify if you're caring for someone who is sick, disabled, or incapacitated. You may qualify if you already are working enough hours to satisfy the requirement. You may qualify if you're participating in an approved employment training, work fair, or volunteer program. And here's something important. You do not necessarily have to be receiving Social Security disability to have a work-limiting condition. If a medical or mental health condition limits your ability to work, ask your county worker what documentation may be needed. Don't assume the county already knows your situation. This is the biggest mistake people make. Don't assume they know about your health condition. Don't assume they know about your caring for someone. Don't assume they know your work hours. Don't assume they know you're participating in an approved program. If you qualify for an exemption, make sure you report it and provide any required documentation. If you're meeting the work requirement, keep records for hours. And if you receive a notice from the county, don't ignore it. Read it carefully and respond promptly. Ask questions if something doesn't make sense. Waiting until benefits are interrupted is the worst possible time to act. What you should do before your next recertification. If you're between 60 and 64 and you receive CalFresh, here are 6 things you should do right now. First, ask whether the county considers you subject to ABAWD rules. Second, ask directly whether you qualify for an exemption. Third, if you have a health condition that limits your ability to work, talk to your healthcare provider about documentation. Fourth, if you're caring for someone, gather records that support your caregiving responsibilities. Fifth, if you're working, volunteering, or participating in a training program, keep track of your hours. And sixth, don't assume age alone protects you unless you're 65 or older. That's the most important takeaway from this entire video. The bottom line is simple. If you're between 60 and 64 and receive CalFresh, do not assume you're automatically exempt from the ABAWD time limit rules. The age-based exemption starts at 65, so if you're between 60 and 64, you may need another exemption, as we've discussed here, where you may need to meet that required work or activity hours. Many people in this age group will qualify for exemptions, but you need to understand the rules, respond to county notices, and make sure your information is current. If you found this video helpful, please like it. And if you know somebody who could use it, please share it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you know when we upload a new video. This really helps our channel. And in the comments below, let me know, did you know that the age-based exemption begins at 65, not 60? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.